Hello, welcome back children. Let us continue with our chapter, the third economic reform, that is globalization. Alright, so till now we have studied about liberalization and privatization. Now we will continue with globalization. Alright, so globalization is the process of integrating our economy with the world economy. Children, initially we have seen that after independence, our policy makers have kept our economy closed. They didn't allow any foreigner or any foreign investors to enter the Indian economy and set up their business. Neither any Indian businessman or investor was allowed to move out. The Indians was required to use the resources generated in India and to produce goods inside the country by developing their own technology. Now the production process came to a standstill before 1990 because the Indian producers and manufacturers were unable to develop their technology. They were unable to utilize the resource properly, so the production was not taking place. Therefore, the globalization was urgently required. Now what happened after globalization? The economies were opened and all the economies were integrated as one. Now it is one single world economy, not separate economies for different countries. Now integrating the world economy only for the purpose of production and investment, not for any other purpose. Means you will say that since globalization is here, so without visa I can go to any country. No, that is not there. You can only set up your business and invest in the business of any country you feel like. Alright, or any country can enter your national borders to set up their business and invest in your business. So this is globalization. This is integration of economy for the purpose of production, and trade. Alright, so this is globalization. Now what all has been done to adopt this policy of globalization? We will see the measures adopted for globalization. The first measure is rising foreign equity participation. Now, equity participation. What is equity? Equity is the part of share capital. Now, those students, there are many students who does not belong to commerce group. So, for you it is necessary to understand that the money put in the business is called capital. Now, in big businesses, huge capitals are put in. So, this entire huge capital is broken up into small parts. That is called share. These small parts are called shares. Alright. So whosoever will buy these shares will become the owner of the company. So these are equity shares. These are called equity shares. So foreign equity participation means now foreigners are allowed to buy the equity shares of the company. So now foreigners will also be the part of management of the home company if they have invested in the capital. So this is rising of foreign equity participation. Second one is devaluation of Indian rupees. Now this we have already discussed in the previous video, that devaluation is deliberate decrease in the value of home currency. This helps in increasing exports and decreasing imports. Alright. Now the third and the most important one is partial convertibility. Partial convertibility is a measure that was adopted during 1991 and now it is full convertibility. But at that time it was partial convertibility. What is convertible? The foreign exchange. foreign exchange reserves. The exporters were getting foreign money, the money in foreign currency, so they need to exchange it from RBI. Alright, whatever they were selling to the in the foreign countries, they were getting money in foreign currency. So they need to exchange these foreign currency for Indian rupees. Now what was happening? Out of their total foreign exchange, whatever these exporters were getting, they were exchanging 40% of that at an official rate fixed by RBI. Now RBI used to fix that official exchange rate, and 40% of their exchange was exchanged at that official rate, and the rest 60% was exchanged at the market exchange rate. Alright, why this was done? This official rate was less than the market rate. Now this was done to increase the reserve of foreign exchange with lesser money to be given. Alright, so this process is called partial convertibility. Now this partial convertibility does not exist, but full convertibility exists. Now it is fully convertible at a market rate, but in 1991 partial convertibility was increased to increase the foreign exchange reserves. Alright, the next one is open competition. Now the world market is open to all. Alright, now what is happening? Now the domestic producers, the domestic traders are facing the open competition from the entire world. All the traders from the world and the producers from the world are competing with each other. Now it is open competition in the country. And lastly, reduction in custom duties and tariffs. Reduction in custom duties and tariffs have helped increase the exports and imports. So it has helped the traders of the country. Have you understood, children? Now we will see certain merits and demerits of globalization. Okay, what are the merits of globalization? First, it helps in raising the world production. So when the world production will be done at one place, all the countries will be doing the production in an integrated way. Technology developed in one part of the country, in any country, will be shared by the entire world. So obviously the production will increase in the entire world. It removes inefficiency of the industries. Those industries which were unable to function before because of the lack of technology, now they will able to work properly and efficiently. Now it will improve the efficiency of the resources as well. Now there's several technologies are there which will utilize the resource to the optimum level. Alright, so it will obviously increase the efficiency of the resources also, and it will encourage foreign competition. The competition will be faced from the entire world. Alright, so all the producers will try to give their best to face the world competition. So a healthy competition will be developed in the world. Now what are the demerits? It wipes out small units. Now only the large scale enterprises who are able to face the world competition will be developed. Alright, the small enterprises, the SSIs, they will not get encouragement because they are not in a race of export and import. They are not able to face the foreign competition. They are not using heavy technologies to produce goods. Alright, so they are in a way being neglected, or some very small enterprises who will unable to meet the competition will be wiped out also. Now underdeveloped countries are unable to face competition. There are various fields where underdeveloped country has to give their attention into the social development, into raising the standard of living. They will give their attention to agriculture, they will give their attention to increase the employment of the country. So they may not give their full complete attention on industrialization only and to face the competition. So it will be very difficult for the underdeveloped country to face the foreign competition. And guess, if the markets, if the economy will be open to all, then the MNCs will be set up throughout the world, and if a company has the capability to set up its business in any other country, then they may be having very good technology, they may be using very good technology, their way of doing business will be good, so they will stand apart the competition, and they will in a way develop the monopoly in the market of small countries. So these are some of the demerits of globalization. Now with this we come to the end of the economic reforms. Alright, the 3 LPG policies we have discussed in detail. Alright, now you will find out how these economic policies are advantageous and disadvantageous for the economy. Alright, thank you.